The stars above Earth were calm that night, too calm. Commander Elias Harper sat in the cockpit of the small reconnaissance ship Aurora, staring at the endless black dotted with distant lights. He had been tracking a cluster of strange energy signals for weeks, signals that no one on Earth could explain. They pulsed in patterns, almost like a message, but from whom? Or what? On the other side of the galaxy, the alien council watched him. Millions of light-years away, beings of immense power and intelligence debated quietly. Their forms shimmered with colors that humans could not even see. "This species is reckless," one said, its voice vibrating like distant thunder. "Yet, they evolve faster than predicted. They might become dangerous." Another, colder voice responded, "Dangerous? They are still primitive. They don't understand the forces they toy with." But a flicker of worry passed through the council chamber. The humans, despite their simplicity, had something the galaxy could not calculate: unpredictability. Back on the Aurora, Elias adjusted the ship's sensors. The readings were off the charts. Something massive was approaching Earth, something no human had ever seen. He tapped into the communications network, trying to warn the space authorities, but static filled the speakers. Whoever, or whatever, was coming, they did not want humans to know. Meanwhile, on a small Earth-based research station, Dr. Lila Morgan and her team of scientists were working late. The lab was cluttered with equipment, holographic screens glowing softly. They were monitoring cosmic signals, trying to understand if humanity was alone in the universe. Suddenly, a sharp blip appeared on their monitors, repeating in a strange rhythm. Lila leaned closer. "This is not random," she whispered. "It's intelligence." Her assistant froze. "But the signal, it's not coming from near Earth. It's everywhere." Lila's heart raced. She knew she had stumbled onto something enormous, something that could change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. She sent a private message to Elias Harper, "You need to see this now." As Elias received the message, the stars around Earth seemed to shimmer. At first, he thought it was a trick of the sensors, a glitch in the display. Then the Aurora's instruments went wild. Hundreds of objects, glowing faintly, appeared near the edge of the solar system. Ships. Not like anything humans had built, and moving in ways that defied physics. Elias gritted his teeth. "They're here," he muttered. His hands moved over the controls with practiced precision. He knew escape was unlikely if they wanted him gone, but he had to warn the planet. Thousands of miles above Earth, the alien council observed silently. One of them, the oldest and wisest, leaned forward, its form pulsing. "They sense us," it said. "Perhaps sooner than expected. Should we intervene?" Another voice hissed, sharp and metallic. "No. Let them struggle. Let them think they are safe. Their fear will reveal their weaknesses." Back in orbit, Elias' ship was suddenly surrounded. Shapes of immense size blocked out the stars. The humans had no weapons capable of matching this fleet. Panic could have overtaken him, but he remembered something the council had underestimated: human creativity under pressure. Elias initiated evasive maneuvers, weaving the Aurora through asteroid belts and debris. Each movement was calculated, yet improvisation guided him. The alien ships seemed almost amused at first, as if testing him. But Elias had learned something vital in his years chasing unknown threats. Predictability is the death of the hunted. Below him, Lila and her team worked frantically to decode the signal. Each pulse, each flicker of light, contained patterns that hinted at strategy, at communication. If humanity could understand even a fragment of it, they might have a chance. Suddenly, the largest alien vessel shifted, and a deep hum filled the void. Elias felt it in his bones. The hum was a message, a warning, a threat. "Leave this system," it seemed to say, "or everything you know will be destroyed." Elias stared at Earth, tiny and fragile below. Humanity was unaware, busy with their daily lives, blind to the storm that approached. And yet, a stubborn spark of hope burned inside him. He knew humans could not match these beings in power, but they had something else. Something no alien, no matter how intelligent, could fully calculate. The will to survive, the drive to fight, and the capacity to outthink their enemies. Then, without warning, one of the alien ships accelerated, vanishing in an instant. Elias blinked. "They're faster than we imagined," he muttered. The hum grew louder, echoing through space. Somewhere deep within him, a single thought crystallized. Humanity had just stepped onto a stage far bigger than it had ever known. And the galaxy had taken notice. Lila's fingers flew over the keyboard. "We need to prepare," she said, her voice steady despite the fear. "Whatever this is, it's coming for us." And in the silence that followed, the stars seemed to hold their breath. The sky over Earth remained quiet, but the calm was deceptive. Far above, the alien fleet hovered silently, their massive forms almost invisible against the dark canvas of space. On the surface, humans were unaware of the magnitude of what had arrived. Only a few had noticed the anomalies: Elias Harper and his small team, and Dr. Lila Morgan with her research lab. Elias Aurora hovered at the edge of Earth's orbit, trying to stay hidden among the debris of satellites and space junk. He watched the alien fleet, noting their patterns. They moved in perfect synchronization, almost like a single living entity. "They're observing us," he muttered. "Studying every move we make." Back on Earth, Lila and her team worked tirelessly to decode the mysterious signals. Each pulse of light, each vibration from the alien ships, seemed intentional, almost like a language. Lila's fingers moved quickly across the keyboard, eyes narrowing at the data. "These aren't just random signals," she said. "They're communicating with each other, and maybe with us." A sudden message appeared on the screen, one that seemed almost impossible to understand. Lines of alien symbols blinked rapidly, forming a pattern. Lila leaned closer, tracing the shapes with her finger. "It's a challenge," she whispered. "They're testing us. They want to see how we respond." Elias received a sudden alert from his ship. One of the alien vessels was moving closer, descending toward Earth. The sensors could not detect any visible weapons, yet the sheer scale of the ship sent chills down his spine. He could feel the intelligence behind its movement, the calculated purpose in its approach. When the vessel reached orbit, a soft, glowing light enveloped it. Then, a holographic projection appeared above Earth, visible to only a few who had the technology to see it. The alien's message was simple but chilling: "We observe. We offer guidance. We seek cooperation." Humans across the world watched the skies, some awed, others terrified. Governments scrambled to respond, but the aliens made no hostile move. Instead, they hovered silently, offering no clues about their true intentions. Elias and Lila knew better. "This is not help," Elias said grimly. "It's a test. They want to see what we can do, how we react." Lila nodded. "And we're learning fast. Every message, every movement, we can study it. Maybe even find a weakness." She paused, staring at the glowing symbols on her screen. "They underestimate us. They always do." Meanwhile, deep within the alien fleet, whispers of frustration passed between the council members. "These humans are unusual," one said. "Their understanding is limited, yet they adapt in ways we cannot predict." Another alien, younger and more impatient, hissed, "They are primitive. Nothing more. They cannot comprehend the galaxy as we do." But the flicker of doubt remained. The humans, despite being weak in technology, had something the aliens could not fully calculate: creativity, intuition, and unpredictability. On Earth, Lila discovered a hidden sequence within the alien communication, a string of data that seemed out of place. "It's a code," she said, excitement breaking through her fear. "Something they don't want us to see." Elias, working in tandem with her from orbit, realized that the alien's message had multiple layers. On the surface, it appeared friendly, even cooperative. But beneath it was a test, a way to measure humanity's potential and weaknesses. "We have to play along," he said. "But we can't give them everything. We need our own advantage." As the day turned into night, the world waited, unaware of the silent tension in space. Humans studied, learned, and prepared. The alien fleet observed, calculated, and waited. It was a dangerous dance, one that could decide the fate of the entire planet. And somewhere, in the hidden corners of the galaxy, other civilizations watched as well. Some doubted humanity's importance, others underestimated their potential. But Elias and Lila knew the truth. Humanity had only begun to understand the stakes, and they were ready to fight. Not with brute force, but with intelligence, cunning, and a resilience that no alien mind could fully predict. As the sun set, casting Earth in shades of orange and gold, the holographic message disappeared. The fleet remained, silent and imposing, waiting for humanity's next move. And in that silence, one thought burned clearly in Elias' mind. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and that mistake could cost them everything. The sky above Earth was silent, but tension crackled through every lab and command center. Humanity had seen the fleet, heard the messages, and studied the patterns. But now, the aliens were moving from observation to action. In the control room of the Aurora, Elias Harper stared at the holographic map. Alien ships were repositioning, forming patterns that suggested more than surveillance. "They're preparing something," he said, voice tight. "It's a test, and they want us to fail." Far below, Dr. Lila Morgan and her team worked tirelessly, decoding the alien sequences. Each pulse, each signal, revealed subtle patterns that hinted at challenges the aliens would pose. It was like watching a chessboard the size of the galaxy. "They want to see how we think under pressure," Lila said, eyes scanning streams of code. "We can't fight them directly yet, but we can fight their expectations." Suddenly, the alien fleet created a massive holographic projection over the Earth. It was more than a message this time. It was a scenario, a galaxy-scale simulation, alive with stars, planets, and fleets of alien warships. Humanity's leaders watched in awe and fear. Elias and Lila understood instantly. This was the first test. A challenge designed to measure human intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. Humans were to solve a problem that could decide the fate of entire star systems. The aliens observed silently, their forms shifting like shadows in the void. "Primitive," one whispered. "They will fail. They cannot comprehend the complexity of this simulation." But a ripple of unease passed through the council. Even the simplest human solution could surprise them in ways they did not anticipate. Inside the simulation, Earth's representatives, human minds interfaced with alien technology, were faced with impossible odds. Entire fleets threatened planets, resources were scarce, and time was limited. Every move could lead to catastrophic failure. Elias' voice broke through the tension. "Listen, we don't have to follow their rules. We need to think like humans, not aliens. Predictability is their weapon. Creativity is ours." Lila nodded, scanning the code again. She noticed patterns that repeated but did not match known alien logic. "The simulation is flawed," she whispered. "It's designed for us to think linearly. But humans don't think linearly. We improvise. We adapt." The team quickly began testing unconventional strategies. They diverted resources in ways that seemed illogical at first, rerouted fleets to unexpected positions, and created decoys the aliens hadn't considered. For hours, the simulation played out. Aliens monitored every decision, their anticipation turning into disbelief. Humans made choices that no calculation could predict. While the fleet expected a slow collapse, humanity's actions created unexpected advantages, turning vulnerabilities into opportunities. One alien, older and wiser, tilted its form, a strange shimmer passing through it. "Incredible," it whispered. "They think in ways we cannot calculate. Their unpredictability, it is a weapon." Meanwhile, Earth's teams realized that this was more than a test of intelligence, it was a test of unity and resilience. Small disagreements could have destroyed their progress, but humans adapted, negotiated, and combined their strengths. Individual brilliance and collective effort created solutions far beyond what any alien had expected. Then came the final stage. The simulation placed humanity in a corner, forcing them to choose between immediate survival and long-term strategy. The aliens assumed humans would panic, make hasty decisions, and fail. Elias looked at Lila, determination in his eyes. They think fear will control us. It won't. We use it. We plan for the worst, hope for the best, and act like humans do. Unpredictable, bold, unstoppable. Together, they launched their final move. Using the simulation's own mechanics against it, they created a chain reaction that neutralized the enemy fleets within the holographic galaxy. The aliens had prepared for every direct tactic, every logical move, but never a human solution. Silence filled the control room. On the alien fleet, observers froze, their forms flickering. One of the council members, furious, hissed, "Impossible! How can they succeed? They should be incapable." Another voice, softer and almost reverent, responded, "They are not incapable. They are remarkable. Their minds operate outside our comprehension." On Earth, Elias and Lila shared a brief, quiet moment. They knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would escalate, push harder, but humanity had proven something essential. They could survive, adapt, and even outthink civilizations far superior in power and technology. As night fell over the Earth, the fleet remained in orbit, quiet but watchful. Humanity had passed the first challenge, not by following the rules, but by rewriting them in ways no alien had anticipated. Somewhere in the galaxy, whispers of concern spread among alien leaders. "They are different," one said. "They should be contained before they become dangerous." But the humans had already started learning, planning, and preparing for what came next. And in that quiet moment, above the sleeping planet, one truth became clear. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and that underestimation would have consequences far beyond anyone's imagination. The calm above Earth shattered without warning. The alien fleet, which had appeared so orderly and distant, now moved with deadly intent. Not all of them had approved the tests. A faction within the council had grown impatient, frustrated by humanity's unexpected success. They decided to strike first, before humans could adapt further. Elias Harper's sensors picked up unusual activity at the edge of the fleet. "This isn't part of the simulation," he muttered, eyes narrowing. "Something is coming, fast, and it's not friendly." In the command center below, Dr. Lila Morgan noticed a surge in the alien signal patterns. They were sending encrypted commands, coordinates and maneuvers that didn't match previous observations. "It's a trap," she said, heart pounding. "They've betrayed us. Not all of them want to observe. Some want to destroy." Elias tightened his grip on the controls. Aurora's small engines roared as he maneuvered the ship around Earth's orbit, weaving through satellite debris and fragments of old space stations. The fleet was vast, its ships bristling with technology beyond human comprehension. Direct confrontation was impossible. The humans had no weapons that could match them. But Elias and Lila had something the aliens had not fully accounted for: unpredictability. On Earth, teams of scientists, engineers, and military personnel coordinated through secure channels. Improvised strategies replaced conventional thinking. Communication lines crackled with tension as humans scrambled to develop defenses that relied not on brute force, but on cleverness, deception, and speed. One group, led by Lila, hacked into the alien signal network. By intercepting commands, they created false trajectories, making some alien ships think humans were retreating while others laid in ambush. "They assume we act logically," Lila said, fingers flying over the keyboard. "We don't. We think differently. That's our advantage." Above them, Elias guided Aurora like a dancer in a deadly ballet. He led alien ships into asteroid fields, used the gravity of nearby planets to change their speed and direction, and relied on rapid, unpredictable maneuvers that no alien algorithm could calculate in real time. The first skirmish erupted near the moon. Alien drones moved in precise formations, striking at orbital stations. Human defenses were weak, but clever tactics, decoys, electromagnetic pulses, and sudden course changes caused chaos among the attackers. Several alien drones collided or malfunctioned, their systems unable to adjust to the humans' improvisation. The battle was intense, frightening, but it revealed something important: humans were not defenseless. They were underestimated. Every move, every decision leveraged ingenuity, courage, and intuition. Meanwhile, within the alien council, arguments raged. This species is resilient, one faction admitted reluctantly. They should be crushed immediately before they learn more. Underestimate them at your peril, warned another. They don't act like the others. They're unpredictable, dangerous in ways we cannot calculate. Back in orbit, Elias executed the final part of his plan. Using the intercepted alien signals, he led several attacking drones into a trap near a dense asteroid cluster. One by one, the drones collided, their systems overloaded by conflicting commands. Lila monitored the progress on Earth, relief washing over her. "It's working," she whispered. "We've turned their own strength against them." The alien faction attacking Earth had miscalculated completely. Their superior technology was no match for human creativity and adaptability. Each human move was unexpected, forcing the aliens to react instead of dictate. Still, the victory was partial. The aliens had destroyed several orbital stations and satellites. Damage to communication and infrastructure was severe. Earth had survived, but only just. Humans had learned the cost of underestimation. Elias, floating above the planet in the wreckage-filled orbit, stared at the stars. "They're not done," he said. "This was just a warning. The galaxy will come back stronger. But we learned something today. We can fight. And we can win." Lila nodded, determination etched on her face. "They think power alone can intimidate us. But they don't understand human creativity, human resilience. We may be weak in weapons, but we are not weak in mind and spirit. And they will pay for underestimating us again." The alien fleet, now regrouping, pulsed ominously above Earth. One part remained in orbit as observers, but the rogue faction had vanished temporarily, planning their next move. Humanity had survived the betrayal, but the war had only begun. And in that moment, above a trembling yet resilient planet, one truth became clear. The galaxy had made a dangerous mistake. Humanity was not just another species. They were unpredictable, clever, and capable of turning even betrayal into opportunity. As Earth prepared for the next inevitable strike, humans had discovered something more valuable than weapons: unity, intelligence, and a will that could not be broken. The first alien betrayal had failed, and it had proven a vital lesson: underestimate humanity at your own peril. The stars above Earth were calm again, but the quiet was deceptive. Humanity had survived the first alien betrayal, but the threat remained. The rogue faction had retreated, regrouping somewhere in deep space, and the observers hovered in orbit, watching. It was clear, the galaxy had underestimated humans, and it was only a matter of time before they struck harder. Elias Harper floated in the Aurora, studying the alien fleet from orbit. His eyes traced the movements of the ships, looking for patterns, weaknesses, anything that could give humanity an advantage. "They think they are in control," he muttered. "They think they've cornered us. They haven't learned anything yet." Below him, Dr. Lila Morgan and her team worked tirelessly to develop human countermeasures. Using the intercepted alien signals from the previous battle, they began building strategies that relied on cleverness rather than brute force. They didn't have weapons capable of destroying the fleet outright, but they had something more valuable: unpredictability. The first human strike was not with lasers or missiles. It was with deception. Small stealth probes, disguised as fragments of space debris, infiltrated the alien network. They emitted false signals, confusing the fleet's targeting systems. Drones turned on each other, ships collided, and the aliens' once perfect formations broke apart. Elias guided Aurora through the chaos, coordinating attacks with precision. Human ships, though smaller and weaker, moved in ways the aliens could not predict. They used the gravity of moons, asteroid belts, and orbital debris to launch surprise maneuvers. Every move was calculated yet unpredictable, classic human ingenuity at work. On Earth, Lila's team hacked alien communications, feeding false data to the fleet. The aliens believed humans were hiding weak points, retreating in panic, when in reality, humans were preparing their most daring plan yet. "They think they're watching us," Lila said, voice steady. "But we're controlling the battlefield without them even realizing it." The first engagement took place near Mars' orbit. Alien drones descended on a series of human supply stations, confident in their superiority. But as they approached, they were lured into a trap. Electromagnetic pulses disabled their systems temporarily, and Aurora and other human ships moved with precision, exploiting the confusion. Several drones collided, others were captured by gravity traps. Meanwhile, Elias noticed a pattern. The alien fleet relied heavily on repetition, on predictable behavior. Humans, by contrast, were improvising at every step. Using this knowledge, he launched a calculated strike against the fleet's communication nodes. Within minutes, the aliens' coordination broke down further. Ships that had once moved as one became disorganized and vulnerable. But the victory was not without cost. Several human ships were destroyed in daring maneuvers, and orbital stations sustained heavy damage. Each success came with a lesson. The aliens were relentless, intelligent, and ruthless. Humanity had to fight smarter, not harder. The rogue faction, watching from afar, realized the humans were learning quickly. One of their commanders hissed in frustration, "They adapt too fast. They are dangerous. Contain them before they gain more advantage." Elias prepared for the final part of their counterattack. Using a combination of stealth, hacking, and precise maneuvers, he led a small human strike team directly into the heart of the alien formation. They deployed decoys, disrupted shields, and turned the aliens' own speed against them. The fleet, massive and powerful, was forced to react to human unpredictability rather than dictate the battle. Lila monitored the chaos from Earth, coordinating each move. She couldn't control the entire battlefield, but by feeding real-time data to Elias and his team, humans were able to hit critical points with deadly accuracy. Every move forced the aliens to adjust, creating more opportunities for human strikes. By the end of the engagement, the alien fleet had suffered unexpected losses. Small drones destroyed, ships disabled, and several key nodes in their network disrupted. For the first time, humans had not only survived an alien attack, they had turned the tables. Elias floated above the battlefield, heart pounding but determined. "They thought they could intimidate us with power," he said. "They didn't understand that intelligence, creativity, and courage can defeat strength when used wisely." Lila, watching the simulations on Earth, smiled. "We've sent a message they won't forget. Humanity is not to be underestimated." The alien fleet, battered and confused, retreated temporarily. But the war was far from over. They would regroup, analyze human strategies, and return with even greater force. Yet humanity had learned something vital. They could strike back, and when they did, they could outthink even the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. And somewhere in the silent void of space, the alien council whispered to one another, their voices tinged with disbelief. "These humans, they are not just primitive. They are unpredictable, dangerous, and clever beyond expectation." For Earth, the night was quiet once more. But every human knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had survived the betrayal, fought back against impossible odds, and proven a truth that would echo across the stars. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and that mistake would cost them dearly. The alien fleet had regrouped, larger and more calculated than ever. Every attack humanity had launched was analyzed, every move studied, and now they returned with precision, confident that this time, victory was certain. Elias Harper floated in the Aurora, scanning the approaching ships. The sheer scale was terrifying. Thousands of vessels, each bristling with weapons and technology far beyond human capacity. "This is it," he whispered. "The final test. The endgame." On Earth, Dr. Lila Morgan coordinated the human response. Every scientist, engineer, and strategist was in position. They had learned from every previous encounter, adapted to every alien tactic, and prepared for the ultimate confrontation. We can't beat them in power, Lila said, but we can outthink them. That's how humans win. The first wave of alien ships struck near the asteroid belt. Humans had anticipated this and created traps using debris, gravitational anomalies, and stealth drones. Ships that should have moved flawlessly collided and were disabled. The aliens had expected resistance, but not ingenuity. Elias led a daring strike team deep into enemy territory. Using false signals and unpredictable maneuvers, they caused chaos in the alien command network. One by one, their drones and vessels faltered, forced to respond instead of acting. Every failure was amplified by human strategy. Lila's team hacked the alien communication channels, feeding misinformation that spread confusion. Entire fleets moved in wrong directions, shields deactivated at critical moments, and the aliens' confidence began to falter. The humans, using cunning instead of force, had turned the battlefield into a trap for the trapper. The aliens, realizing the humans' unpredictability, became desperate. "Contain them at all costs," one leader hissed. "They are not just clever, they are dangerous." But even in desperation, the humans had prepared a plan that no alien could anticipate, the final gambit. Elias activated the plan. Stealth ships moved to key positions, using gravitational slingshots and electromagnetic pulses to disable alien ships in critical formations. Humans exploited every weakness, every predictable pattern the aliens had relied upon. It was audacious, bold, and terrifyingly effective. Hours passed in tense silence. The alien fleet, once so imposing, was fragmented and in disarray. Human forces had inflicted losses far beyond what anyone expected. Yet the cost was high, Earth's defenses were strained, and countless brave individuals risked everything. Then, the final moment arrived. Elias coordinated a massive synchronized strike. Using a combination of human ingenuity, misdirection, and timing, they triggered chain reactions that neutralized key alien command ships. The fleet's cohesion collapsed. Ships fled in panic or were destroyed. Humanity had turned the seemingly impossible into reality. In the aftermath, silence settled over space. The alien fleet retreated, battered and humiliated. The galaxy had underestimated humans once again, and this time, the consequences were clear. Elias looked down at Earth, battered but unbroken. "We did it," he said quietly. "Not with their weapons, but with our minds. We survived, and we prevailed." Lila, exhausted but triumphant, smiled. "The galaxy will never look at us the same way again. They thought we were primitive, weak, but we are clever, resilient, and united. And we always will be." Elsewhere, the alien council convened in silence. Some were furious, others impressed. "They are more than we predicted," one whispered. "Their minds, their courage, it is a force we cannot control." Another admitted, "We must respect them. They are dangerous, yes, but also extraordinary." On Earth, humans celebrated quietly, not just for survival, but for proving something essential. Intelligence, creativity, and unity can overcome even the most powerful forces. Humanity had faced the galaxy, and the galaxy had lost. Not because humans were the strongest, but because they were unpredictable, bold, and unyielding. And so, humanity stepped onto the galactic stage with a new reality. They were no longer a species to be underestimated. They had survived, adapted, and triumphed against civilizations that had once considered them insignificant. Above the stars, the galaxy had learned a harsh lesson: never underestimate the human spirit. And on Earth, in labs, control rooms, and silent observation decks, one thought united every human heart. The future was theirs, and they would meet it not with fear, but with ingenuity, courage, and the unshakable will to survive. The galaxy was quiet now, but the silence was heavy with realization. The alien fleets had retreated, their plans thwarted by humans' cleverness and unpredictability. What had begun as a test had transformed into a battle that no one in the galaxy would forget. Elias Harper floated above Earth in the aurora, staring down at the planet. Below him, cities glowed faintly, scars of the recent battles faint but present. He felt pride, exhaustion, and an unshakable sense of responsibility. Humanity had survived forces far beyond its comprehension, and survived not with brute strength, but with intelligence, courage, and unity. Dr. Lila Morgan stood on Earth, watching the skies from the research station. Her team had worked tirelessly, decoding alien signals, anticipating attacks, and preparing strategies that relied on ingenuity rather than firepower. Now, as she looked at the stars, she understood the truth. Humans had proven themselves. Against the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, they had prevailed. Across the world, people celebrated quietly. Governments, scientists, soldiers, and ordinary citizens shared a sense of awe and wonder. Humanity had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. But more than victory, they had earned respect, both for themselves and from those watching in the distant reaches of the galaxy. Elias and Lila communicated through secure channels, sharing the moment in silence. "We did it," Elias said, his voice low but steady. "We survived. We learned. And the galaxy knows now. They know not to underestimate us." Lila nodded. "It's more than survival," she replied. "It's a statement. Humanity is clever, bold, and resilient. They expected fear, hesitation, predictable reactions. What they got was creativity, teamwork, and courage." Even the Alien Council, in their distant chambers, could not ignore the truth. One elder, speaking softly, admitted, "This species, they are extraordinary. They are not just primitive observers. They are a force in ways we did not predict." Another alien, more cynical, responded, "Dangerous, yes. But perhaps there is value in observing them. We underestimated them for too long." On Earth, humans reflected on the lessons of the conflict. Technology was important, but more important was intelligence, adaptability, and unity. They had learned to think outside predictable lines, to improvise, and to trust in the power of the human spirit. Elias returned to Earth's orbit, landing the Aurora amid wreckage and debris. He stepped onto solid ground, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of accomplishment. Around him, human eyes watched, curious, hopeful, and proud. Lila joined him, carrying data files from the alien network. "We now know more than we ever imagined," she said. "We understand their tactics, their weaknesses, but most importantly, we understand ourselves." The night sky stretched above them, filled with stars that no human had dreamed of reaching. Humanity had survived betrayal, adapted under pressure, and outsmarted civilizations that had considered them insignificant. It was not brute strength, but ingenuity, unity, and resilience that had won the day. As humans looked to the stars, one truth was clear: the galaxy would never underestimate them again. They had proven that even the smallest, weakest species could outthink and outmaneuver the mightiest civilizations when intelligence, creativity, and courage were on their side. Elias and Lila stood side by side, watching the alien fleet retreat beyond the limits of their sensors. "We've changed the galaxy," Elias said softly. "Not by destroying them, but by showing them what humans are capable of." Lila smiled. "Yes. And this is just the beginning. Humanity will continue to grow, learn, and explore. We will be ready for whatever comes next. Because we are humans, and we never give up." And so, Earth entered a new era. Humans had survived the galaxy's greatest threats, earned respect across the stars, and proved an enduring truth: underestimating humanity is a mistake no civilization could afford to make. Above the stars, the universe seemed to hold its breath, knowing that from this moment onward, humanity was a force to be reckoned with, a species not defined by weakness, but by intellect, resilience, and an indomitable spirit. And somewhere, deep in the silent reaches of space, alien observers recorded the lesson with quiet astonishment: humans were not just survivors. Humans were extraordinary.